explain what you're doing? Oh, it's recording now. I said it's recording now. Do you want to explain what you're doing?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the oil in this generator.
Okay. This reminds me of Home Improvement, Tim the Toolman.
Huh?
You keep changing the oil?
Has to be changed every feel like 50 to 100 hours. So. I hate to lie, we've already dumped oil in it. It's just like, so.
Well, there's the oil. You just dumped it out.
What I've done is I poured more oil in it because, again, my OCD just does not believe that all the dirty oil came out. So I put clean oil in it to flush out the remnants of the bad oil, and I'm just waiting on it to collect down here in this pipe.
Okay. Well, I don't think anybody wanted to watch the oil drain out anyway. It's okay.
So there's been several videos made of the Champion 4500 generator. There are 3 versions of this thing. They're all 4500 watts, and they all have a dual fuel option for propane and gasoline. They're identical units, but they're 3 model numbers. And if you look at the front of this one is all black with a black insert. This one is the, I forget the first numbers. I want to say it's a 68991.
0991.
Okay, so this one, the other ones you see are mostly yellow. If you look at the front of this, what you'll see is that it's got the easy start, which, you know, that's full choke, that's half choke, that's your start button there. But the 991 has the dual 2.1 amp USB on it. The other models do not have this. So ours is completely different from any of the others that I've seen reviews on, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this. Of course, it's still got the parallel kit, so we can stack 2 of them together. It's RV ready, so it's got the 30 amp plug on it. It's got dual 20 amp or /110. The difference between 20 amp and 15 amp is the 15 is just 2 blades. When you have the little kick off to the side right there, that means it's 20 amp. So of course it's got the reset buttons up there. But other than that, they're identical, and you would never know it based off of ordering online. Now the other thing that I bought is it's a grounding plug, and what I can do is I'll open that up while this is draining. So this thing's got 3 screws right there in the front of it that I'm going to take off here. All right, so this is just the inside, and what I've done is, again, I've doubled up because I want to make sure that I've got the proper resistance on these. But if you take a look at, so I've got this lug here and this lug here, which is the wider plug. So the ground and the neutral are tied together on the back side of this plug.
You made that, didn't you? Didn't you make that?
Yeah, I bought this at Ace Hardware. Is like $2.99. So the reason you do this is if you look up at the manual of a generator, they have floating grounds. And when you use a surge protector, it sees that it's improperly grounded and it trips your surge protector. You can't get power coming out of this to your RV. So if you'll buy one of these, and just remember the mouth part of the happy face to the big eye, and just put two strands of wire through it, clamp them down, put it back together, and then all you have to do, you want to put that over here.
So you can see.
All you have to do is plug that in there, and it simulates a ground, and it allows power to flow through the ERTI from here through your surge protector, and you get power to it. So. I gotta figure out how to put this thing back together. And then this, what this is if you're going to make your own extension cord. Your cable would go in that hole right there, and then it would plug into those right there. So instead of doing that, I just made a grounding unit for the generator with it. Never comes out. It stays right there, so it doesn't get lost. All right, so I'm gonna make sure the rest of this is out. Which it is. The other thing about this generator is you have the option to run regular oil, or you can run synthetic oil. If you look at the guidelines on it, if you run synthetic, you're supposed to run a different weight of synthetic oil. So I've opted for the 5W30. Doesn't really matter what brand, but the 5W30 is supposed to go from 20 below all the way up to 120 degrees. You don't get any extended. You still have to change the oil every 50 hours. You check it every 50 and change it every 100, or no, you check it every 8 hours, the fill level. You're supposed to change it every 50 hours if it's on severe duty, 100 hours under normal duty cycles. So this is the second oil change we've done on this. We're right at 203 hours. So again, I'm going to put in the 5W30 just to cover all environments, because we do use it in the winter. And instead of buying individual quarts, I bought a big gallon jug of it this time. So that's it. So the last time I did it with quarts. I've got a little bit left over. So I figured this time, since we're going to be gone for quite a bit, I'd buy a whole jug of it. So if we have to run this for 4 days, then I can do an oil change on the road. I also bought a spark plug, so I'm going to change the spark plug. I'm going to gap it to its requirements. It's a 0.08 to 0.031 gap. So we'll be doing that. And then I've got to take the spark arrestor off of it, clean any carbon buildup on it, and go from there. So now we're going to fill her up, which is not going to be fun. 60 hertz. So that's running at 60 hertz. That's the amperage draw on it right now, which is 0. That's the number of hours that we've run this, 202 hours. So I was close. I said 202, 203. But as you can see, there's those USBs. It's really quiet. I mean, it doesn't have a load on it, but and it's in eco. If I turn it off in eco, it's done a good job. So the specs on it has like a 3,800 running wattage. It's like 3,150 on propane, the full 3,800 on gasoline. It's got a 2.25 gallon gas tank, and running off of gasoline, it'll run for 14 hours at a quarter load. So divide 48 by 4, and that's the wattage you can pull. That's not the amazing part. Gasoline, getting 14 hours out of a generator, fantastic, yay. But when you run it on propane, we consistently get 20 to 21 hours off of a 20-pound propane bottle. So we run a 35-foot fifth wheel. We run a 15K AC in the living area, a 13.5K in the bedroom. And granted, both of them are running soft starts, but we can run all of that plus the power in the RV. So, we're charging the batteries off of running the dual ACs, running all the lighting. We don't run the water heater off of it. We run that off propane, but we get 20, 21 hours consistently out of a 20-pound propane tank. So
we do have to turn off one AC if we run the microwave, or turn off both ACs if we run the microwave.
If we run the microwave, we have to shut off one of the ACs, but that's just because of the power draw. We don't have any problem starting the ACs. Matter of fact, if you're not running soft starts, they have saved our backside a couple times. One with the generators, because of course we like to tailgate college football. The other was we went to Duval's in the Smokies, which is one of our favorite parks to go to. And we pulled in, we had a 50 amp site, the 50 amp plug wasn't working right. We reset the breakers, it just had a foul in it. So we grabbed our 30 amp dog bone and ran off a 30 amp circuit. We still run both AC units in the dead of summer. So those things are well worth their money. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's after 200 hours. It's not bad, but so this is a spark gap calculator. I don't think y'all can see it on here, but each one of these little tines is marked with a number. And if you know that your gap is supposed to be 0.028 to 0.031, So 22 and 8 would be 30. You put those together. So I've got these two here. That's a 0.022 and a 0.008. That's going to give me a 0.030. This is supposed to be between a 0.028 and a 0.031. And you slide that in between the contact pin and the hood there, and it fits, but I would call that a little loose, so this spark plug is probably out of spec, but we're not gonna keep it anyway. So I'm gonna double check the markings.
Piece of paper towel on it.
So I'm not going to throw this away. I'll keep this in the truck just as a spare, but you can see it's a F6 RTC. And I looked at the manual, and it says that this is the replacement for it, and it does not look the same. So we are going to go ahead and put the new one in because that's what the manual says. But check the gap on it. So the gap is off. I've got it just tight enough to where my feeler gauge will go in, and I don't have any wiggle room. I know I'm at point. I know I'm right in the dead center of what they recommend. So close that up.
generated for right at a year. What would you rate it?
Oh, I'd give it 10 out of 10 all day. I think it's been a fantastic generator. It has done everything that they claimed that it'll do. There was no marketing ploy involved with that. I mean, it has done everything they say it'll do.
And we have been around some noisy generators that we could hear from across the hayfield. Ours is really quiet.
It's dead on weight. Every review that you see on it, decibel rating is dead on. You know, based on what kind of fuel you're using, they're dead on with the hours that you get out of it. So we've had it a year. It's been in the fifth wheel. We had it with the travel trailer. It rides in the bed of the truck. It sat through monsoons.
I don't think that's on good.
This is the, other than oil changes, this is the first time we've ever done.
Yeah, we don't even have a cover for it, and it's sat in the basket behind the RV. Plan to find a cover, but we just haven't found one. This was a great purchase, and for us, it's a necessity. It was a great purchase,
Yes.
and for us, it's a necessity for boondocking.
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
We are AC people.
Yeah.
We're not gonna just be okay with the windows being open.
You know, God love y'all that can be out in the middle of the desert in 100-degree weather and have just the windows open.
And a cross breeze, we don't. We rarely. It has to be perfect weather with no humidity for that to happen for us.
You know, in the southeast, you cannot camp from, I would say, Virginia south, and from Virginia over to Ohio, and then back down through, you know, eastern Texas. It's too humid. It's awful. I mean, you get out of the shower, you walk outside, it can be 65 degrees and you're wringing wet with sweat. It's horrible. So the other thing is, nobody tells you, you know, everybody says, oh, fill up with fresh water, take off, you know, you can go spend a week out in the desert. No, hell, you can't. Not unless you want to die. Yeah. It takes water to take a shower, even if you're, you know, cutting the water on and off, you know. Then if you're like us and you only have one battery and you have no solar, but yet you have a residential refrigerator, that inverter is only going to power the refrigerator for 8 hours. You have to find a power source somewhere. You know, you are not going to run AC off of batteries. I mean, it's I guess you could build a big enough solar system with a big enough battery bank and solar panels to run it, but you know, I'd love to see somebody that says that they're running their AC unit off of nothing but solar for 8 hours. I don't see it. I don't know how you would have enough surface room to put that many panels on there.
Let us know if we're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you know somebody's doing it, please, by all means, let me know, because I'd love to see that setup. But
We're probably never going to do that.
so even if you're running a 12-volt refrigerator, I mean, off of a 100 amp hour battery, if you're lithium, which gets you 90% of that battery, so 90 amp hours, you know, you're still only at best going to get a day and a half. You've got to find a way to charge your batteries up. So to me, if you're going to boondock at all and you don't have solar, you have to have a generator. And even if you have solar, don't do it in the southeast. It's too friggin' hot. It ought to be illegal. At least during the summer months. We're starting in, so what would you say, starting in
May.
Probably May, the middle of May, all the way through
October.
November.
Yeah, October, November.
So, all right, let's fire this thing up. So, if you want to buy one of those, go to Champion and look up the 3 different models, figure out which one you want. But don't go to Amazon to buy one. The best place that we found is Northern Tools out of Michigan or Wisconsin. They're like $900. If you go to Amazon, they're $1,300. So I would go and have it shipped.